In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Desmos, the graphing calculator, to graph these equations and determine if they're proportional or not proportional. I wanted to make sure that I showed you how to write a fraction, how to write a power of 8, or any other power, give you an idea of how to use this graphing calculator. So I used, if you saw, this hand tool to kind of move this over to the side so I had some more room. And then I'm going to go ahead and graph y equals 1/2 x. So let's go over to Desmos, and I want you to notice that there is this keyboard at the bottom left. So click that keyboard, and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to type y equals 1. Then to make a fraction bar, you just use the division symbol because a fraction bar really means division. That's a trick a lot of times for making a fraction on these calculators and things where you can write an equation. So we use the division symbol, then 2. Now, here's the problem. Some kids might type x right after that, but x was not in the denominator. So I'm going to backspace, and I'm going to go ahead and use my right arrow cursor, or my right arrow to move the cursor over, and then I'm going to place the x. So now I've graphed this first equation, y equals 1/2 x, and you can see that it's a straight line and it goes through 0, 0, or you could say it contains 0, 0. So this is proportional. So then I'm going to take my typing tool and I'm going to type, this equation is proportional because it is in the form y equals kx. There we go. It might look a little bit tricky because the k in this example is a fraction, it's 1/2, but it really does follow the model y equals kx. Now look at part B. What do you think? Is this going to be proportional? Make your prediction and then we're going to graph it. So I'm going to erase what was here and I'm going to type y equals, and this time we have x in the numerator. Then I use the division symbol to make a fraction. The 2 is in the denominator. And let me check and make sure I typed that correctly. X over 2. Yes. So x is in the numerator. And take a look. This graph is actually the exact same as our other graph. Let me show you. So I'm going to hit this plus sign, which will add another expression. And I'm going to type y equals 1/2 x. Oops. 1/2 x. And you'll see that when I go from the green to the purple, they're right on top of each other. So you can't see the green and the purple at the same time because look, they're right on top of each other. So green, purple, green, purple. They're actually exactly the same. They are both proportional. They go through 0, 0 in their straight line. Now let me show you why these fractions are the same. Think of it this way. All right, so let's say that I had to multiply the x by the 1/2. Well, to multiply x by a fraction, I would need to write x as a fraction. So I would put x over 1. So now it would read 1/2 times x over 1. And then you would multiply the numerators and you get x, multiply the denominators, right? And you would get 2. So we would get x over 2. So 1/2 times x, 1/2 times x is the same thing as x over 2. It just looks different. Like 1/2 times x looks different than x divided by 2. Do you remember the other day when we talked about multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2? So these two fractions are identical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go to the text, copy this, and then I'm going to see if it lets me paste it. There we go. I just pasted it. They're the same thing. So this equation is also proportional because it is in the form y equals kx. If you want to show that the unit rate is 1/2, the coefficient of x is 1, and so you can kind of show that this is a 1/2 right here. All right, we've spent enough time on that one. Let's look at part C, y equals 2 over x. Let's see if this is the same as A and B. All right, so y equals 2 over x. Let's just add another equation. All right, y equals 2 over x. So now x is in the denominator. If x is in the denominator, look, it is not proportional. Let me go ahead and get rid of these so we can just look at this 2 over x. If x is in the denominator, this kind of equation is called an inverse function. So this is not proportional. So let's go ahead and go back, and I'm going to type, let's use a new color. This equation is not proportional because x is in the denominator. All right, moving on to letter D, our final example. So I'm going to graph y equals negative x, and then if I want to put a power, I just click this AB, and you'll see that it goes up here to make an exponent, and then you just type in whatever exponent that you have. And then I can take a look at this graph, and this is a quadratic that is facing downwards. So this is a curve. So even though it goes through 0, 0, it's a curve. So this is not proportional. So I'll grab another color and just type, this equation is not proportional because the exponent is not 1. The exponent in y equals kx, when you don't see it, it's understood that it's a 1. So this exponent being an 8 made it so that it was a curved graph, so not proportional. Hopefully that will help you with graphing using Desmos today.